Oh, he's a
super
monster.
athletic. I'm surprised he hasn't yet. I always just thought that that's what he was going to do.
Actually, I thought he would get into WWE after that whole thing where Bret Hart got attacked by a fan. And he came out and he just leveled him. Like he just gave him a bunch of shit. Do you remember that?
Welcome to Thicc Boy Fight Club. I'm your Balkan boy.
I'm Tyson the Beast.
And our guests today are AC and Dave, also known as Raunchy Nuts, owners of Battle Arts Academy and Hamilton Wrestling Entertainment. Before we get started, shout out to our sponsors. Top Mutt Studios, above and beyond all else.
Phallon the Great.
Phallon the Great.
Ooh, that's a new
Battle
nickname.
Arts, Kangen Water. Go ahead.
Beer Bites, Gas Tank, Major Pack, Mo Mind, Kimura.
Blessed Edibles.
Clinch Culture. I know we're missing somebody.
Sorry for everyone we missed. Shout out to my cousin for making the soaps.
Naga Top Team, the soap maker.
And yeah, if we missed you, we're sorry, but we're growing a better
Just for
day.
kicks, if I didn't say it.
A lot of sponsorships, boys.
Yes, we're doing well.
As for our restaurant shout-outs that we always do, for me, it's going to be this new place I discovered, Good Fork. It's owned by a Kurdish couple from Turkey, and it's like a Turkish brunch spot, like themed, but it's had all kinds of food I can't pronounce. Like I think it was silbi and weird names.
Sounds fire.
But it was delicious, all kinds of crazy flavors. And they had some mango mimosas, so it was a good Saturday.
I'm going there. For me, it's gonna be Royal Meats. We have the meat pack here, so we had to get the Royal Meats. Local spot, legendary Serbian spot right here in Etobicoke, the best food in the city. Right there on Kipling in North Queen, legendary Serbian spot. Everyone knows it.
They own their own butcher shop, so
he knows probably more about it than I do. But super fire spot. We just had the meat platter, lamb, chicken, beef, sausage. So fire spot.
Oh, I'm going to go with the Burger Barn in Oshweekend. Best burgers you could get.
In Oshweekend?
Oshweekend, yeah. Just a little bit past Hamilton.
Okay.
Yeah.
The burger
I bet the meat's
what
good.
kind of burgers?
Oh, God. The one I usually get is called the Barnyard Burger. 2 big patties, chicken breast, bacon, eggs.
Chicken breast.
It's
like a farmer's threesome.
Oh, yeah. Everything that they have on the farm.
The farm is being in one
Farmer's
burger.
orgy.
What's a farmer's threesome?
Chicken, beef, and pork.
They have everything on
vibe.
it. It's crazy. And the thing is, got to be 2 pounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to
and
fit
they
all that.
load you with a plate of fries. It's fantastic.
Vibes.
Well, we're going to keep it rolling with some loaded meat. I'm going to give a shout out to Schwarnado, Tompkin and Eglinton,
On the block.
right across from Battle Arts Academy. Phenomenal spot. Their potatoes are good. You know what I'm saying? They got that sauce and shit.
So guys, we were super excited to have you here. Everyone knows that we've kind of had a partnership now with the MMA program and Battle Arts. But kind of tell us your origin story, because I think you guys have one of the more interesting stories when it comes to like owners of gyms out here, especially with you guys doing the pro wrestling thing and now.
Yeah, one of the most unique gyms by far.
If not the most in the city. Yeah,
Thank
like,
you.
in terms of what you guys have. So kind of give us like the origin story, how you guys got into pro wrestling. I know you do Jiu Jitsu, and then how you guys end up with the Battle Arts like collaboration and everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
So started in Hamilton, obviously, the Hamilton Wrestling Entertainment Corporation. That was a couple of years ago. And Dave and I had always had these aspirations of having our own club. And, you don't really do that, down the street or in the same hood as, your trainer and stuff like that, not stepping on any feet. And it was in the summer of 2020, after a bit of a lockdown, but before the major lockdown, that Anthony Corelli had put up on, it was on Facebook actually, that Battle Arts Academy was going to close. He was going to step away.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
Right.
I remember a lot
I
of
actually
people
thought
were
Battle
sad
Arts was done.
Right.
Along with many other gyms that we lost during
Right.
that pandemic. We lost some.
And that
some
was
big
tough
names.
because like that's a home. That's a home for many people. That's, home away from home and where you put in your work. So we had seen that, reached out to Anthony, had a few meetings with him, and lucky enough for us that he trusted in the two of us enough to kind of pass the torch of Battle Arts and keep it alive, which a lot of people were happy about. And, we were thankful enough that he stayed on as a partner with us instead of walking away for good. So
Yeah, you guys didn't have to rebrand or anything. You
No.
just continued carrying. I mean, It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you guys were like one of the, it's also the Ontario Performance Center for pro wrestling, which is a big deal for Canadian athletes in any sport, right? Like if you're trying to break into anything in the States, it's a big deal having that.
Absolutely.
Especially with a guy who already was in the WWE. So like, what was it like when you guys decided to transfer over, like from Hamilton
like were you
over
guys
there?
already there a lot before then, taking wrestlers there?
Or was it just because you guys knew?
No, we've actually only been to Battle Arts once.
Oh wow!
When we heard that, when we saw that post online from Anthony, it was just we went there probably 6 months prior to when we bought the place. We had a match. It was me and AC versus Anthony and Stone Rockwell, and then I guess I was at my cottage and AC said, "Oh, did you check out the post?" Looked at the post and we ended up calling him. And that was it.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you, you actually told me like you walked in the gym and even before you knew it was going to close, you're like, one day I'm going to own this gym.
Yeah,
like,
I said that to Anthony. I look at his place. I just
like manifesting for real.
I couldn't believe
Wow,
it. You walk
that's-
into this because we're used to training at gyms where they're not huge, right? And
That's MMA, bro. We used to
That's
train freaking like
and then we walk into this place and this is not a gym. This is
I
just
mean, he's got Olympic wrestling mats.
it's a
Yeah,
facility.
He's got a real wrestling ring. I mean,
it's everything. And it's even an arena.
Bleachers.
it's an arena.
It's an arena too.
There used to be a cage there, which
Yeah.
is something that me and Tyson were
We're
talking
going to get
about.
back. We're going to work on that.
Like there used to be a cage there years ago, and I mean, like the facility's 13,000 square feet, and we got Muay Thai, we got Jiu Jitsu, amateur wrestling, the MMA classes, boxing, pro wrestling, and there's not many places out there that not only incorporate all of those things. With us crossing over though, like you said, like coming in to Mississauga from Hamilton, like the pro wrestling community is so tight knit that it's like everybody knows everybody. So, people are coming from Hamilton to train or Toronto or even further, right? Yeah. So,
But I was
go to
talking to
different
Tyson.
gyms.
We see it like with what you're doing with Scarlett, and
Scarlett Dugout, shout out.
and just as you say, the pro wrestling community is very tight, and the MMA community, just as much. And the way you guys are crossing over, there is a lot MMA guys can benefit.
I'm trying to tell
to
you,
like
man.
a pro wrestling
learning from the
program
marketing and all that,
and
yeah.
how to like sell themselves and how to actually become marketable and actually turn this into a professional career. That's not just like an extreme hobby that you're paying to do.
Well, I see you
Which
guys
is what
have,
a
like,
lot of pro fighters end up doing here in
Yeah.
Ontario.
Well, I
No,
see
for
in your
sure.
pro shop. I already knew Scarlett had her own brand, but shout out to our other guy Isaiah. And I'm realizing, like, Scarlett's been well known in this community for years, right? She,
Right.
Boxing. She's a good wrestler. She's been well known, but now because of the pro wrestling, the way she's branding herself has just been completely different. I'm already telling Tim, I'm learning a lot from you guys too. Like, so like, what was it like when you guys decided to come and take over the pro wrestling? Like, what made you guys want to also make it more of a martial arts gym as well? Because obviously Anthony was doing well. You guys already had your thing. What made you guys want to say, okay, let's try to get the boxing in there. Let's try to get the Neil Ewers, Matt Man, and wrestling. I mean, you guys are really making a push to make this a legit gym.
Mm-hmm.
So when we took over, there was they've already had the martial arts there. They had the jiu-jitsu, they had judo too at the time. We don't have that now.
because Anthony was a judo black belt. Yeah.
Exactly. And we had boxing, we had Muay Thai, we had group circuit training, amateur wrestling just started at that time.
I think that's one of the most important things.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
it's
And
great.
Very few schools do that. A lot of them neglect that, and that's one of the number one key things for success, even if you want to have good pro wrestlers.
Yeah, with the amateur wrestling, we had two different people there, right? We had Mattman that came in, and then we also had Neil Ewers. So two amazing coaches.
Top level,
top level. And recently they just put their
You guys are like the matchmakers for that, though. Really, how I see it, because
Yeah, when I heard you guys made that happen, it's like, man,
when they
like,
put it
I should start an
together.
app for matchmaking.
No, legit, like,
set up
what
an
you-
app.
Because the resources Mattman has to pull from so many different schools of kids,
Yep.
of young, hungry kids that are
Young
wrestling,
athletes.
that are good athletes, and then to have a high level coach like Neil, who takes kids to the States and exposes them to like folk style and hard wrestling. Like, think about all the potential future stars you could be drawing from
pro wrestling, yeah.
from those wrestling classes that either
exactly.
transition to be successful MMA guys or successful pro wrestlers.
So for you guys, like, because now we all know like the transition from, let's say, a Ronda Rousey now, and obviously Scarlett's doing really well. Was that kind of in your mind, or was it kind of a coincidence how this all came together? Where now, because Gable Stevenson just signed the WWE too, Olympic champion. Was it a coincidence, or was this something you guys already kind of knew the future of pro wrestling is going to be these young athletes who already know how to, whether they're jiu-jitsu, whether they're Scarlett, whether they're was that a coincidence or?
For me, I think it's a coincidence, but that's been the mantra for years with Anthony. So because our pro wrestling membership includes all access to the gym and its programs, he's always made that something that, should be known, that the people who are coming in, our students for pro wrestling, like they should be on the mats doing jiu-jitsu, amateur wrestling, and you named a few where they did cross over either from pro wrestling to MMA or from MMA over to pro wrestling. Bobby Lashley's another good example.
Brock
He's
Lesnar, obviously, probably one of the best
Brock
examples.
But when you look at guys like that, those guys are successful because of their amateur wrestling credentials, which gives them the ability to both be successful pro wrestlers because they can do all the craziest moves. And they can also do that in MMA too.
Yeah, I always tell the pro wrestlers, the students, to take jiu-jitsu classes because it's great. You incorporate that together with pro wrestling. It looks good.
It's gonna make you a better athlete. You're just gonna understand your body better. It's just like learning how to do a proper judo toss can't hurt in a pro wrestling match, right? Learning how to fall properly. I've like you guys have those practices, bro. It's like
I'd say the number one thing for pro wrestlers is the break fall.
It's crazy during your class. Like it's just like every time I'm like, now I'm getting used to it. But first I was like flinching every 2 seconds. Guys are getting slammed. Like it was crazy. Like,
but Dave too. Like Dave's been a jiu-jitsu guy for a long time, and partially owned club in Hamilton too. So like that was part of it. Like coming over to Battle Arts Academy, where it was kind of like a crossover world where Dave's been in jiu-jitsu, owned a jiu-jitsu club in Hamilton, for me in fitness, and both of us are passionate together, pro wrestling. So it was kind of like an amalgamation of like everything in one place, one facility, right?
Yeah, we usually ask our guests like their martial arts journey, how they got started. Why don't you guys tell us like how did you even end up in pro wrestling and you yourself?
Yeah, how did you guys meet? Like how did Ron Chinots come together? What was the path?
Well, for me, starting jiu-jitsu, I was just watching UFC. I was watching UFC and
which one?
It was the first few watching Royce Gracie.
No way.
Taking out these huge. What was that guy's name? He had the big cross on the back.
Chemo.
Yeah.
Looked like a pro wrestler.
Yeah,
literally
big dude. And Royce Gracie.
I always talk to all the guys. They're like, we thought that guy was gonna destroy.
Well, he literally had that pro wrestler look, and then you had this guy in a little gi, like, and it was like.
Did you guys think Chemo was gonna destroy him when you first watched it?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I mean, he did give Gracie a beating. Yeah, Gracie couldn't continue the next match after that.
Yeah,
but he still finished him, submitted him. Yeah. I think he ripped out his ponytail too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he pulled the triangle with the ponytail.
Yeah. I remember there was no weight classes back then, right?
And you could do
240-pound version of Royce Gracie would have killed him, right? Like it helped when you had 70, 80 pounds. I'm like. The black belt 240 Royce Gracie, that wouldn't even been a close match. Like, imagine,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it would have been crazy.
And that's what got me started with jiu-jitsu. I saw it. I'm like, I got to try this stuff. And then I joined a gym in Hamilton called Pura, BJJ.
Oh, that's a classic one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was with them for about 9 years, 8-9 years. And then, there's a couple of the guys there. We decided to open up a club in Hamilton. It was called Bora BJJ. You know Matt McDonald.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Great, great teacher, good professor. And
he's doing some at Niagara.
Yeah, he was actually there last night.
Yeah,
he did a class there.
Video. He's doing something.
Yeah, he was just there with the Niagara top team.
Yeah,
those are our guys.
Yeah, he's good friends with Chris.
Is Andre there as well, Ouroboros?
Andre trains with them too. Andre, he came down to Bora quite a bit. Yeah. That's when Chris Prickett came, and even Josh Hill came a few times, and a bunch of those guys.
Yeah, okay.
And they would all have their big classes.
So what is this before or after the pro wrestling thing?
It was way before, and then I guess doing jiu-jitsu, I had a buddy of mine there, Brian Higgins. And he was doing wrestling. He's like, "Oh, you got to come try it." I'm like, well, okay, why not? So I stepped in the ring and I'm like, okay, I'm hooked.
Oh, that's crazy. I thought you were a pro wrestling guy and then went into
No, not at all.
So what about you? How did you like?
For me, it just like pro wrestling's been like a lifelong dream kind of deal. You know what I mean? When I was like 3 years old, I'm sitting in front of the TV, and that goes all the way back to like Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant shit.
I don't think anybody in our age
right?
bracket didn't love
you know
that
what I
shit.
mean?
Same.
But yeah, it was shortly before Dave. So I guess maybe like 6 months.
Yeah.
Or so before Dave, I had started training. So a buddy of mine said, "Hey, there's this pro wrestling academy here in Hamilton." And at that time, I had gone through some shit in my personal life, and I was, finally back at the gym working on myself. And I'm like, if I'm going to make a go of this, it's now or never, So that's just how I got started. I'm not a mat guy. I've never done Jiu Jitsu or MMA.
We're gonna get you. Dave said it's not possible.
I've been trying for so long.
You guys have been trying,
make it
but
happen, brother.
I'm all about the looks, the fans, the slamming and jamming. You know what I'm saying? So
slamming and jamming. So like this is because something we've kind of talked about, especially like CM Punk tried to come to MMA, and you had Brock Lesnar bouncing back and forth, and what's his name? Gable Stevens is talking about eventually wanting to come to MMA. I always said this. I always found it interesting that, the WWE was at such a high level, guys were making millions, and Vince McMahon seemed to embrace MMA faster than a lot of other sports. Like boxing took forever to embrace it. You could argue to this day, Muay Thai still doesn't embrace it. Like, why do you think that is that he maybe saw the future? And because that to me was one of the biggest threats to the WWE is real fighting, right? Like that was probably one of the bigger threats, and he seemed to embrace it right away. Do you think that's just because he's a good businessman, a fan? Like, why do you think it is that he...
I'm not sure why, but I know we were talking about like Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Bobby Lashley, Ronda Rousey, but even before that, going into like 97, 98 is when like Ken Shamrock.
Gosh, I forgot Shamrock did both, you're right.
Right? So Shamrock, I mean, I watched a bit of UFC in the beginning when it had like the old school logo and shit. And Ken Shamrock, I think, right? Ken Shamrock was there. He came, and so did Dan Severn.
Oh yeah, Dan Severn went to
who we actually met. We met him in
we did a show with him.
Yeah. Oh wow, this is longer than I even
because he crossed over to pro wrestling too. So, but that's like back in '97. McMahon realized this. So I'm not sure what it was. Like, maybe just the UFC and MMA was taken off so much that he saw like the dollar value in it.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he's done well for himself.
A lot of other people did not.
Well, he even had Tank Abbott got into wrestling.
Later on,
Chemo. I think Chemo got into it, and
Vitor fought. I mean, Cain Velasquez,
Cain Velasquez,
Junior Santos. Like, it's been crazy.
But even boxers like Mayweather's done.
Yeah, Mayweather.
Mayweather.
Like,
he knocked out the Big Show at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's right, with brass knuckles.
Yeah, he did this little combo.
Cain Velasquez was a cool thing. Like, they didn't just bring him straight in. He actually was doing a lot of independent shows before
luchador stuff almost.
Yeah, he was doing a lot before he actually went into the WWE.
Oh, he wanted his practice. I mean,
I guess it was mostly just for that one big match against Brock Lesnar, right? The rematch.
The rematch.
I love that. That's so smart the way they did that.
But there's money in it.
Yeah.
Well,
like you're selling pay-per-view tickets.
I've said before, the reason, that's why the CM Punk thing, I'm not a fan of his, but that's why it was almost disappointing. I always said the reason Brock Lesnar did so well is because he made his money and was able to just focus on training. He was right away able to buy a huge facility. He's married to, what's the female?
Sable,
right? Like, he already had that.
Yes,
that
you could see
someone
like Gable Stevenson take that path.
So they said that's what that was. He wanted to go right into MMA. And I from what I've heard is that Brock was the one like, no, bro, go make $1 million, and then all you have to worry about is training.
You can live comfortable and then bring in the best trainers.
I always said that was one of the smartest ways. And then now you look at Ronda Rousey, who did it the opposite way, who's doing very well. Like,
but I was gonna say, like, it's a great if you tap into the nostalgia of us MMA fans later in life. And then, like, you want to see guys like Anderson Silva do a match, Chuck Liddell do a match, Tito Ortiz do a match, like, Hoist Gracie come out and do some stuff. Like, do you know how much money is potentially in that? You know what I mean? Like,
so you're a jiu-jitsu guy. Like, I didn't know much about CM Punk, but I know you have to be a good athlete to be in the WWE. There's no way around it. Like, I've seen Bobby Lashley, obviously the Brock Lesnar. Why do you think he wasn't able to transition properly the way like Brock Lesnar? Obviously he didn't have the same amateur wrestling background, but the guy was a good athlete and he had the money and he got a huge like, why do you think it never meshed for him?
Brock Lesnar, I mean, the guy's just a monster.
Yeah.
You know, he's a big dude, and most of the guys that he fought wasn't as big as him.
Yeah,
like even
Shane
you go
Carlin's
against,
probably the only one.
even Randy Couture.
Yeah.
You know, there's Heath Herring was actually pretty big, but that was a quick match. I think he took him out in the first round. CM Punk, I don't think he just trained as much You know, you're
so
going up.
weird.
They put him up against what was his name? Gall.
Mickey Gall.
Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall is pretty damn good at jiu-jitsu.
Now we know he's good. Now
Yeah,
we know
he
better.
was
but
pretty
he was a
good.
guy who's also very green. When
Yeah, he was
they
like
brought him
2 fights
Yeah,
in.
but I don't know what CM Punk was. Was he a white belt or a blue belt at the time?
blue belt.
A blue belt.
But, you know, to be fair, they made James Toney fight Randy Couture, right? They didn't give him the love. They at least
but James
tried
Toney
with
at least-
CM
Yeah,
Punk
that was just
to give
the-
him a better shot. That was not a good fight for James Toney. Like,
well, it's the whole thing that they're doing between MMA fighters and boxers.
Did you guys
know,
watch that
I would have
triad
marketed it
combat?
differently.
which one?
Did you guys watch that triad combat on the weekend in the triangular ring?
I've
Where
heard about it. I didn't
where
get to
the
see
Frank Mir and
That was
and
terrible.
and Mike Perry fought.
Yeah,
Frank Mir. That's an
Frank
old
Mir
school
just
guy
got
too,
right?
starched by
So
some
it was
boxer.
boxing with MMA gloves that were a little more poofy, and in a triangle ring, and they were allowed to clinch and do dirty boxing, and that was it.
Yeah.
But Frank Mir got like.
Yeah, I remember
oh
like
my
he was
Lord.
days on his feet and out. Because like if I was Dana, if you're gonna pay James Toney $1 million, give him somebody to knock out. Why would you give him the worst potential? Like
Nah,
to me,
to make a
To,
statement.
to prove that boxers can't
do
really
this.
go in the MMA world and MMA guys can't really go in the I don't know. That's
because he seemed to want CM Punk to work.
I always see like MMA guys will have more success going into boxing than boxers will.
Yeah,
do
100%.
Of course.
Because we already box.
Well, it's just
Yeah.
you're so tough on your body already. So when you transition to not getting kicked anymore and taken down, you can just zero in.
But look,
Boxer, first thing you get kicked
Clarissa
in
Shields
your
is
leg-
not looking bad. She's looking good.
Yeah, they're giving her tough opponents too. The girl who beat her wasn't like a chump. She's not
No.
getting like chumps either. I mean, like I said, even Holly Holm was a boxing world champ. Nobody cared until she knocked out Ronda Rousey. Like nobody
And now
cared.
imagine bringing Holly Holm in after her career's done to do a wrestling match with Ronda Rousey.
that would be
That's
fantastic.
money.
But is Ronda
She
Rousey
deserves-
still even? She's not even in WWE anymore, is she?
Well, I know that she took time off because she had a baby, right?
Oh,
Oh,
I
I'm
didn't
Sure,
know
she'll
that.
come back for that money. Why wouldn't she?
So,
you know,
I
and
would
Misha
see her.
Tate, I don't think she's gonna be fighting much longer. You know what I mean? Like
could see her eventually going
going
over.
over to something like WWE.
She's got the look now. She got the surgery.
Shayna Baszler's still there.
Oh, she's still in the WWE.
So like they had like the 4 horsewomen of MMA, right?
Ronda's,
really?
Ronda's
Like,
3
Ronda's
training
crew?
partners. Yeah.
Which was Shayna Baszler was there. The other 2 were in NXT, which is like the feeding system for WWE, and they didn't, I guess, make it, you know. But Shayna Baszler's there, and then they were talking about this huge like setup where the 4 horsewomen of MMA would fight the 4 horsewomen of WWE, which was like Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks,
Oh yeah.
Becky Lynch, and Bailey. So
Can't
like,
wait to see our girl Scarlett in there beating up some of
right?
these girls.
But that never happened. That never happened.
She's already
right?
done a few.
I know she's a beast.
Yeah.
So what's Ronda Rousey's husband name again? The
Travis Brown.
Travis Brown. He's not in the UFC obviously anymore.
No, he
Why do you
retired.
think he hasn't tried to transition? He's huge. He has the look. He's married to.
He could. I mean,
Have you guys heard? Maybe
And we
there's
all
something
think
on.
we all think we maybe can, and it's like different. You know what I mean? It's like,
But I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Like, have you guys heard anything about? Is he just sitting there collecting like daddy child support? Because like I'm not knocking him. He's not working anymore. Like
I have
if Ronda
no-
Rousey's
I
your
have
wife,
no
just sit
clue.
back and
I've seen videos like they have like some farm and stuff like that.
I mean,
like-
he's what 6'6".
He's a
super
monster.
athletic. I'm surprised he hasn't yet. I always just thought that that's what he was going to
Actually,
do.
I thought he would get into WWE after that whole thing where Bret Hart got attacked by a fan, and he came out and he just leveled him. Like he just gave him
Somebody
a
else
bunch.
just
Did
got
you remember
attacked,
that?
too.
yeah.
Somebody else-
Seth Rollins.
Okay, so
Yeah.
was that real? Because I remember, like, I saw the video and it made me wonder: is this
Set up or
Yeah,
is
because
this-
like, how did this guy get? Like,
So the story I heard, I don't know if it's true.
and then
This
Seth tried to
guy,
like do a guillotine. I was like, this doesn't look.
this
like,
guy that attacked him, I guess someone had a fake Seth Rollins account on Facebook or something. And was getting money off this guy. So this is what I heard. So I heard that it was a plan, like it was planned for him to go attack him. He really wanted to.
Yeah, it was like a real beef or
Yeah.
something. It's like,
Wait,
but
so-
what people don't understand is that WWE, you know what I mean? Like it's not real, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but some people think it is.
Wait, so
Oh, yeah.
This guy had a
somebody
real
create-
beef. You
Somebody
know?
created a Seth Rollins account.
Yeah, someone
and
created a
started
Seth
being
Rollins
I'm
account.
broke. Send me money. He's like, I love Seth Rollins. And
I don't know the whole story, but that's what I was told. So I don't even know if it's true.
Sucker.
I just saw the video. I remember like he kind of ran. He didn't hop over the fence. It just looked like because I remember you remember this
I
like
mean, people were like, "Oh, this is probably part of the show." It
was a big boy, too.
so yeah okay that's another thing
Yeah.
I noticed like so remember this was years ago. I think it was Altamore that was the guy's name Tugboat, the old school wrestler. So remember
Yeah.
the thing where he was supposed to do a push up on his back. I remember being a kid and everyone thought this was a random fan, and then he turned out to be part of the WWE. I thought that's what was going on because I'm like, how this guy just out of nowhere? He's huge as hell, moves hella well for a big fella. Like,
they do that quite a bit. I mean, they did it with Anthony, right? They picked him out of the crowd to fight Umaga on his debut.
I did not know that.
And that's Anthony. Yeah, it was in Milan. So
do you guys know for sure if that attack was legit, or are we gonna find out this
I think it was legit.
The Seth Rollins one was legit from what I hear.
What is up with their security? So it's that easy just to like.
Well, it's like a soccer game, football game. People jump and they run the field.
But you assume with WWE because of the emotion and some older guys, like you said, it's fake, but I don't. For him to have done this, he clearly isn't all the way there.
Well,
I just thought security would be a little.
But I
more.
mean, I don't think you can have security on like every 5 feet, right?
Because where did he come from? I saw the video. It didn't look like he hopped over the rail. He looked like he came from like a.
It looked like it was from like the entrance, but it was like for the seats go back and who knows.
Yeah,
right?
he was moving quick, bro. Like they like tried to put him like a guillotine and like they're rolling around.
And then Rollins gets up and he's like, "That's all you got."
Yeah, so I just see,
dude. You had 20 guys pull him off. You know what I mean?
And so basically, somebody pulled like a Facebook scam on this guy, and he was mad at Seth.
That's what I heard. But I mean, from what I hear, the guy gave him money. I don't know.
So he's doing well enough to give pro wrestlers money and buy tickets to the show.
Clearly wants to be a pro wrestler.
I have no clue. That's just what I was told.
I need to know more about this guy because like I remember thinking it was just all fake, and then they were like, "No, this is real." I was like, "No way, that was real." Like,
I think he because he had apologized or something. That's what he said. Like he had a real beef with Seth Rollins. It's like, man,
like that was a fake account. He's like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah,
sorry.
Watch them actually get this guy and make a match out of it now.
Well, you see my point. Like it's like.
You could capitalize on that.
Oh, easily.
Because if you're an adult who's mentally okay, like for you to fall for that and then still have the money to go buy a ticket, like it just doesn't sound like the story makes sense, right? Like, and you really believe Seth Rollins was hitting you up on Facebook?
I don't know. I've worked security at pro wrestling events at the Air Canada Center, and like some of those fans go pretty crazy.
Oh, dude, like, they're nuts.
And I've gone to like the small ones. Like I've worked security at like the Great Hall. You know, like when they used to do the smaller shows there. I forget what it was called, but yeah, it's like the fans go crazy.
That's why I'm so surprised he was able to pull that off. I was like,
well, we had a match about 2 years ago. It was us against Johnny and not Clay, Careless.
Oh yeah.
And the crowd was half and half because Johnny was a popular team. We were a popular team, and they were fighting in the crowd. Like we have it on tape where people were actually yelling at each other, ready to throw punches. And we had
those
to
were
jump.
Kids,
yeah,
though.
we had to jump out of the ring and tell people to shut up because they're swearing, they're telling us to do things, and there's kids in the crowd. It was like insane.
They were kids because our buddy Johnny, like he's now at Brock U, but. That was like when he was still in high school. Like so all of his buddies, they were like jaw jacking, like beyond. And I actually got off the apron, which, you know what I mean, you shouldn't do because not only was my daughter there, but like there's other kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just like got right up in their face and I said, listen, man, like sit down, like enjoy the show. This is not real, man.
So this is like an old school, like when we thought it was real and you like fight kids.
When I first came to Canada,
it's better than Shawn Michaels.
All the kids were telling me it was real. So like we would watch it like it was real. And I would be like, I guess it's real.
Well, I found it was fake because of the Bret Hart thing, the Shawn Michaels.
But
beef.
I wouldn't say
I was
that.
Devastated. I was like, what do you mean, Bret? He didn't beat you fair and square?
But I mean, it's real in a sense where like people get hurt and people die.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
I saw the Shawn Michaels Hall of Fame thing. Like he clearly had CTE. Like
and the injuries are definitely real.
Well, and that's the thing too.
It's
is
a
like,
real sport, you know what I mean? Like the way I look at it, like it's real athletes.
Because you guys saying, you know what I mean? Like you're saying fake. Like there's this interview, and it's like old school. It's like in the 80s, and some guy was saying to this wrestler, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, you know it's fake, and this guy slapped the shit out of him, man.
I mean, these guys will still fight you
because it's not fake.
You know what I mean? How fake is this? And cracked him like twice.
I would say that it's more
slapping
staged,
each
bro.
other. And you guys are slamming each other.
Well, like I said, I think if The Rock wanted to like beat people up, he could do it for real. You got to respect the fact that these guys are still freakish athletes. So before we go,
Brock Lesnar does a backflip off the top of the ropes.
Brock Lesnar was a world champion, Olympic level wrestler. In my opinion, he could have if he wanted to.
Watch what Gable Stevenson does.
I cannot wait for him.
Yeah, I want to see him
and WWE. So before we go, give the crowd like where can we contact you? Whether it's social media, Battle Arts. What shows do you guys have coming up? I know you guys have a show this weekend, the 18th, I believe. Just kind of, this is your chance to just promo, let everybody know.
All right.
Give us a promo, guys. Let's go.
This Sunday, December the 5th at the Don Kolov Arena, HWE presents Not So Silent Night, which is a 3 p.m. bell time. As
Sunday.
previously discussed, On the 18th, Scarlett Delgado will be in action for Battle Arts Rising Stars, which is also at our venue at the Don Kolov. Destiny is the day after. Like, this venue's just got so many events,
so much.
man.
And what about before you go, tell us about the match you have with Anthony, because I'm super excited for that one.
Oh,
February
jeez.
5th.
Yeah, I called out Anthony, told him I could destroy him in Jiu Jitsu. So he changed the rules a bit. It's going to be a judo versus Jiu Jitsu match.
Which is basically a Jiu Jitsu match.
It's a shoot. It's a real
You
match.
just can't pull guard, huh?
Oh, I can pull guard if I want.
That's what you
Yeah,
should
it's
do
Jiu Jitsu and judo.
immediately. Do not let his big ass toss you.
No, God. No, pull guard and just have fun with it.
All right. So, guys, thank you so much for coming. Guys, definitely come check out Battle Arts. Me and Boyan are basically run the MMA program there. We've had a lot of good guys. Shout out to Luke Roberts for coming out of Niagara Top Team. Like I said, they have everything. I know you guys even have yoga now. Boxing, yoga, amateur wrestling, amateur jiu-jitsu, kids jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, plug your Instagrams as well, please.
Yeah.
At the official HWE for the pro wrestling, and at Battle Arts Academy BAA.
And your own?
At the Coconut, Mr. I don't have Instagram.
It's too cool. Too cool. You see the hat. He's too cool.
It's his hat, yeah.
You have hats like that, you don't have Instagram. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming. Guys, definitely check out Battle Arts. If you have a chance to come check out these shows, they're so much fun. I'll be there Sunday. And I'm Tyson the Beast.
I'm the Balkan Boy.
And we're Thicc Boy Fight Club.
The gang.